Hello everyone, and welcome to part 6. In this series, we have been building a real-world YouTube clone application using .NET MAUI. In the last video, we were building this video page where it will go and find some videos or fetch some videos from YouTube and display it in a list. So we implemented a custom control and a decent looking UI, as you can see over here. But this page is not yet complete. There are a few things which are missing, namely three. We will be completing all these three in today's session. So the very first thing that you will notice, if I scroll down towards the end, in our API call, we were only fetching the top 10 videos. Now, what about the remaining? Usually what happens is when you scroll down and keep on scrolling, the next 10 videos should appear. When you scroll further, another 10 videos should appear, and so on. Another thing that we still need to implement is the search bar at the top. So right now we hard code it in our search to fetch all the videos related to iPhone 14. But what if you want to search for a specific video? So we are going to implement a search box, a custom search box. That's why we put a placeholder. We will replace that with a real search box, which you can type anything into and it will search or query YouTube APIs to fetch videos related to that. And lastly, right now, if I click on any of the videos, nothing happens. So what should happen is when we click on a video, it should take us to a videos details page where it should show more details about the video, such as the view count, the number of likes, description of the video, ability for you to play the video, and so on. So these are the three things that we are going to implement today. So let's jump back into our Visual Studio. And the very first thing we are going to implement is we are going to be adding the logic to load more videos as and when we scroll down. So luckily, it is very easy for us. All we have to do in our collection view, we just have to specify what command to use when we want to search for more videos when a certain threshold is reached. So in this particular case, I am saying when the remaining items threshold is 1, that is only when I'm scrolling and the last item is in the view, at that time, go and execute another command, which is, in our case, load more videos command. If I change it to 2 or say 5 in this case, what will happen is the moment I am on the 6th item, it will go and it will start fetching the next 10 videos for us. So you will not even know. So for you, it will be more or less a continuous scrolling. In my case, I'm going to make it 1 because let's say only if the user is towards the very end, we want to show, and if there is a delay in fetching the APIs, we will also implement how to show to the users that we are doing something and he has to wait. So this is a very simple way. All you have to do is just add these couple of lines to your collection view, which is remaining items threshold and the remaining items threshold reached command. So we are calling a command in our view model, which is load more videos command. So if I now go back to my view model, we have to implement this command. Now, one thing I will do before I go into the command itself, we need to make sure that we are not already executing this command. So I'm going to create a custom property called isLoadingMore. We will use it for a couple of purposes. One, if the threshold reach command is executing at the moment, we should not try to re-execute. And secondly, we also use this variable or this property to show an indicator or indication to the user that we are doing something. So with this, we just need to add a new relay command. I'm going to copy in the code over here and then I'll explain. So it's a load more videos command that we have created. And the very first thing I'm doing is I'm checking if I'm already loading or the next page token was empty, then return. We do not want to do this. So you remember we had this next page token which we were getting from get YouTube's video. The moment we are setting the next page token. Initially when we started, the next page token was empty. So we just got the first 10 videos. But after that, we set the next token. So consider you are fetching and fetching, you are scrolling down and down. At some point in time, YouTube will say, okay, that is the end of the videos. There are no more videos that I have to present to you. In that case, it is going to return an empty next token for us. So that is something we can check and we can say, okay, fine, we can now stop. So if either of these conditions are met, we return. Otherwise, what we do, we say is loading more, we set this indicator to true. And just to demonstrate, I am going to put in a delay of say 5 milliseconds and show you how it works. And then I'm calling this get YouTube videos command. Let me just change this. It should have been get YouTube videos. So this is one of the reasons why we extracted out this method into a separate one. Otherwise, I could have simply put this over here in my directly either into the on navigated, or we also separated out that whole function, this whole code into a search function, which again I will show you why that is relevant. But instead of putting this whole code over here, we put it in a separate method. So now the beauty is that we can keep on reusing this many times because the logic is the same. All we are going to do is, it is still complaining that the get YouTube videos does not exist in the current context. Yeah, here we go. So what we are doing, we are just calling the same function. What it will do, it will go and fetch the next 10 results. And right now, because of our previous call, the next page token has been set. So it will fetch us the next 10 next 10 videos. And then it will set the next page token. And the whole logic, everything else remains the same, which is to get the channel details, the channel images, and so on. And then at the end, we are setting the is loading more to false. So let me actually go and run this and show it to you on the screen. So the application is coming up. Now, if I keep on scrolling and if I load towards the very end, nothing is happening at the moment. That is why, because we had put in 5 seconds delay. So if I wait for 5 seconds, after that, you see, it is bringing in more videos. And then it stops over here, nothing is happening. By the way, I can keep on doing this. That is the reason we put this is loading more to prevent this. And now it is going and it is fetching even more videos. So how do we show this indicator? Just for the purpose of this, I'm going to keep this as 2 seconds so that we can see how we show this indicator. I'm going to go back to my start page, and what we can do, we can implement this using a footer in our collection view. So I can go back to our collection view and I can add a simple footer with the height of say 56 in our case, and I'm going to put in a activity indicator, and I'm going to say that is running is based on the is loading more property from our view model. I'm going to set its width and height and center it on the screen, scaling based on my device where I'm running it on. So now if I rerun the application, you will see you will be presented with a visual indicator whenever we are fetching more. Let me show that to you. So our application is loading up, and I have put in a delay of 2 seconds on purpose over here so that we can show you how this is looking. So if I now scroll down, you see the moment I scroll, it is fetching, and this indicator was on, and the moment it is completed, the next 10 videos are available, it stops showing the indicator. If I slowly go down, very, very slowly, okay, in our case, it has already fetched because we are caching the data. But if we keep on going down, yeah, see, now again it is fetching more videos. And once more videos are available, it stops showing the indicator and the next 10 videos are shown. And I can keep on doing the same thing. So that is how we are implementing the infinite scrolling in our application. The next thing we need to do is we need to implement a search button. So let me rerun the application, currently what we have at the top of the top of our collection view, we have just put in a placeholder text that we will be implementing our search box over here. So we can implement that in our collection view header. So this is the placeholder that we had put in. I can safely remove that. Now, very simple way of implementing it is using a search bar. So let me show that to you. So we can implement it using a search bar. Now, unfortunately, the search bar is not very customizable. So that is the reason I have decided not to roll out the default search bar, which is presented out of the box with .NET MAUI or even with Xamarin Forms for that matter. So I have decided to roll out my own. It is actually very simple to do that. Let me show it to you. All we have to do, we have to just create a border. Depending on your UI, it can be a border, it can be a grid, can be anything. In our case, we are just going to put in a border. I'm going to give it a height request, and that's it. Now, if I run this, we will see a nice bar at the top where our search content, namely our entry field and a search image icon will go. And when we press on that search button or the search icon, or we type in anything, press enter, it should go and it should fetch the videos related to our search. So you can see over here, this is the bar which has come up and it is looking much nicer. So inside, all we have to do, again, very simple. I just need to add a couple of controls. One is an image and the other is an entry control. That is all I need to do. So let me bring in the code for that and show it to you over here. So inside this border, I have a grid and it has two columns. The first column, the column number 2 is going to show an icon search image, and on this press of or tap of this icon, this image, I'm just executing a command which is my search videos command. We have not implemented that yet. We will do that in a while. And I'm passing in the parameter, which is if I go back over here, so the second item is an entry control. Let me remove this. I was just testing out something. So the second is an entry control, which is called txt search query. I'm putting a placeholder of search, placeholder color of light, and I'm putting it in the first column. So what I'm doing, I'm binding or I'm sending to this command the value, the text property of this entry control. So binding path is equal to text and source is equal to x reference to txt search query. So every time whenever I tap on this image, which is the search icon, it is going to execute this command and it is going to pass in the value from this text box. So let us actually implement this search command. This is again something very simple. Let's go back to our view model and add our search command. So the search command is very simple. Search videos, and you can see this is the search query we are passing. Now, one thing that we are doing, because we are searching totally freshly, so it can be a new search term. What we are doing, we are setting the next page token to empty, because you remember either as part of our original page load, where it called this function, the next page token has been set, or maybe because of our infinite scrolling, the next page token has been set again by calling this method. So in this case, I need to set the next page token to empty so that when I search for this particular query string, I get the very first 10 results. And then I'm setting my search term, I'm trimming it in case the user has added some leading or trailing spaces. And then this is our search method. Cannot await void. So we are going to go and change that to a task. So this is one of the reasons why I Let's change it all to obey. This is the reason I did not put this whole logic into the onNavigated tool. I just extracted it out into a separate method because now the advantage is whenever the user types in something and he wants to search, basically I want to do the same steps again, wherein I want to show the loading indicator, I want to clear out my current observable collection, and then I want to search the videos based on the search query which has been passed and only show it to the user once the results have been fetched. And in case if there is an error, in case there is no internet connection or something else goes wrong, I want to display my error messages appropriately. So this is the reason we extract it out. So here all we are doing, we're just clearing out the next page token, setting the search term, and calling the same method. So let us see this in action now. So we now have our search box which has an entry field and a search icon. So here I can simply go and search for something. Let us search for our good friend Gerald. He has been doing or posting a lot of amazing .NET MAUI content. So let's search. If I search, you can see now it is bringing me all the content based on this search query. If I change it to something else, that is going to work. So let's put in, I don't know, Samsung. One thing you will notice, if I press on enter right now, nothing happens. It is just entering and it is just uh, putting the focus back on the screen. I still have to click on this icon to go and fetch the results for Samsung. So we can actually fix that as well. So whenever the return is pressed, we can automatically execute our search command. So that is again very, very simple to do. We have our entry field. Entry field has a completed event. So I can say completed equals to a new event handler. So let me go to this particular, the code behind, make it async. And all I need to do, I need to execute that command manually. Now, this is one way I am doing this. I'll explain to you in a bit. So I'm saying view model dot search videos command dot execute txt search query. It is just complaining it cannot find it, but it is in fact there. If I rebuild, it should be fine. So I'm just executing the search videos command, which we have declared over here. Search videos command, passing in this parameter. So let's go back over here. So this is all we are doing. Execute this command, passing in this parameter or the value in this text box, entry box. So this is one way of doing this. The better way of achieving this is rather than calling this view models command manually from our code behind, as we are doing over here, we can actually use event2 command from Maui community toolkit. But in my case, I did not want to bring in an unnecessary dependency just for one small thing. But in your applications, if you're already using community toolkit, then I would suggest don't do it this way. Rather, implement it using the event2 command, where you can do the same thing. You can execute that command and passing in the command parameter. So let me run this again. So this time around, even when we press enter in our entry field, we should be able to execute the results, to execute the search command and fetch the results. So let us have a look at that. So let me go back here. I'm going to quickly type in again Samsung. And now when I press enter, you see it brought in the results immediately because the data is cached. I can go and search for Apple. And now it is executing our search command and bringing in all the videos related to Apple. I can either do it this way or I can press the search icon. I have both the options. So this is implementing the search box. The only thing which is now left is the navigation. So how do we navigate from our view model, from our videos from this page to the next page? So what we are going to have, let us implement actually or add a new page. I'm going to call it video details page, video details page. Okay, a simple page. We are not going to do anything right now. And what this video detail page does, it takes in a video ID. So whenever on from the main page we click on any video, we will create an instance of this page passing in that specific video ID, and then we will do something using the view model that it will fetch the details of that video and show it on this page. So that we will be covering in the next video. So for the time being, this is all that we need. Now, what we need to do, we need to go back to our view model and we need to have a command which will help us execute this. So I can say again a relay command, and let me call it we do not want to do return anything. It's a navigate to video details page, and we will be passing in the video ID. And in this command, all we are doing is we are saying await navigation service dot push async, and we are going to create a new instance of this video details page, passing in our video ID. That is all we are doing. So this will actually navigate to the next page. Now the very next thing we have to do is we have to somehow call this navigate to video details page command from our page. If we go back to our video cell, one way we can do it, we can implement a selection change property over here, or selection changed method in our collection view. That is one way of doing this, but I want to avoid using code behind as much as possible and want to do it from my using my view models. So if we go back over here, ideally what I should be doing in this border, I should be putting in a tab gesture recognizer. So let me actually go over here. So I should say border dot gesture recognizers, and I should be having a tab gesture recognizer. So whenever anyone taps anywhere, I should be executing a command, and then I should be passing in the command parameter, which is this video itself. So I can say binding id dot video ID. This is as simple it is. Now we should be executing that command and passing in this parameter. So we should be passing in, binding, and what did we call this command? We called this navigate to video details command. Right? So it is as simple as that. Now, whenever I tap anywhere on this page, on this any video, it should execute that command and it should take us to this second page. So let us actually run this application and I will show you it actually will not work. And there is a reason behind that. So first let me run and show you the application and then we will discuss. So actually it fails to run. I wanted to show you, but since we are using compile time binding, it is not letting me execute. It is telling me that I cannot find navigate to video details page command. Why is that? Because the model for this, or the data type for this, or the binding context for this, if we go back to our start page, the binding context for each of the items in our collection view item is actually an individual YouTube video. the binding context of the whole page is this start page view model where we have this, and inside that we had declared a property or a list of videos, YouTube videos, and the binding context of or the item source for this collection view is that YouTube videos only. And for each of the items, it is binding context is that one video, and that video does not have a navigate to videos details page command. So that is what I wanted to show, that when I execute or when I click on this, it will not run. If I simply had gone ahead and removed this X data type, then I would be able to run the application. Let's actually do that. It will then not complain that I cannot find this command, but at least the application will run. It will not do anything. So application is coming up. If I click on any of the videos, you will see nothing is happening. And the reason behind that was because on this YouTube video, we do not have a navigate to video details page command. So what we need to do, we need to somehow get access to the start page view model from the calling page, the start page. So how we can do that? One simple way that I have found that works for me is usually I just implement a simple bindable property on my page, on my control. I call it a parent context like this. So just create a bindable property of type object. That's it. And then in my start page view model, start page, whenever I am referring to this page, I just pass in the parent context. So I set this parent context property. So I say parent context equals to this page's binding context. So this page is called xroot. I called it xroot. So on the start page, when I execute or when I call this instance, I just set the parent context to this page's binding context. So now my video cell has access to this parent context property. So now what we can do, we can actually fix that. So we can say basically call path is equal to this, but my source is so I will reference to X reference. I will reference to my video cell root. And then again, it is complaining I cannot find this because it is only available in the parent context. So here you go. So what we are saying that execute the command navigate to videos details page command from the parent context dependency bindable property that we have created from this page, from the binding context of this page. The binding context of this page is still a single YouTube video, but we passed in the whole parent context into this. Now if I go and run this, it should work for us. Now do not expect anything fancy because we have not implemented the video details page yet, but at least it will take us to a blank page. So if I click on this video, it takes us to a second page. All right, so I have not implemented the back button, but you get the idea, right? Similarly, if I rerun the application, this time around clicking on any other video, it should take me to that second page. Let me actually show that to you. If I go to my video details page and if I put a breakpoint over here and let me run this, if I click on this first video, it passes in the video ID which is HMQYLC something. If I execute this again and I click on a different video, we should be able to get a different video ID which is pertaining to the item that we clicked on. Let me click on the third video And this time around, it is 9Q9Z XYZ. So here you have it. Our front page or the start page is complete with all the functionality that we wanted to implement. In the next video, we will start looking at implementing in details the second page, which is the video details page. So there we will be doing quite a lot of work. Again, we will need to make changes to our services to get more information related to our YouTube video. Right now, we are just fetching the basic information. We'll need to make another API call for that, such as the views count, the likes count, the subscribers count for the channel. We will be showing the information related to the video, such as the description. We will fetch the comments and we will show the comments using a bottom sheet. We will also have the ability to play the video. Uh, .NET MAUI does not have a video player control yet, but we will find, I'll show you a workaround how you can make that work. And lastly, we'll also have the ability to download the video. So if you want to watch it offline, you can do that. So that's it for now. Stay tuned. See you in the next part. Thank you very much.